Hello and welcome to Quays TV News. I'm Charlie Kennedy. A short film competition has been launched at Media City UK today to raise awareness of the way tobacco is marketed and the way smoking is portrayed in the media. The following images contain flash photography. The event is funded by Tobacco Free Futures and was launched by T4 presenter Will Best and Hollyoaks actress Jessica Forrest. The competition asks young people to make a 2-minute short film their take on their issues.
So it's about young people doing the research, finding out for themselves, making their own decision, and then telling other young people what they've found, rather than just kind of grown-ups saying to young people smoking's bad. So it's really good for that reason, and also it's great because it encourages creativity, and it's actually young people doing something for themselves which is genuinely interesting.
So there are two particular issues that we'd like young people to make films around. One is around marketing of tobacco products, so packaging of cigarettes in particular, and the other issue is around smoking in the entertainment media, so smoking in movies, smoking on TV, or celebrity smoking, looking at magazines where smoking is featured. So we'd really like young people to think about how they're being targeted directly by the tobacco industry, and also looking at where are the images of smoking that normalise smoking in the media, and how can we expose some of that?
Well, basically the competition allows the non-smoking videos just to be all over the internet, because they've got to plug it through the social networking sites, and obviously young people, they're always on like Facebook, Twitter, Bebo, stuff like that. So if they're constantly plugging their video to win on social networking, like subliminally, and people are going to be watching these videos, and the videos are going to be saying don't smoke, and like relaying of facts and like why you shouldn't and how harmful it is. So it's a really good way of doing it, actually.
Fashionistas from across the region have been showcasing their designs at Manchester Fashion Week. Emily Bergen reports from the event.
Manchester held its first ever Fashion Week this year, with massive brands such as Mulberry, Flannels and Ted Baker making an appearance. Manchester Fashion Week was held at the Avenue North in Spinningfields and was sponsored by Misguided.co.uk and partnered by brands like Topshop, Boss Model Management and Key 103.
Manchester is one of the most fashion-conscious cities in the UK, and the clothes we've seen today here at Manchester Fashion Week have proved this to be true.
Spring-Summer 2012 is set to bring us maxi dresses, pastel colours, staggering heels and floral prints for women. For men, the trend is trench coats, smart suits, bold block colours and khaki shorts. Flannel's catwalk show consisted of designs from Nigel Caburn, Marlene Berger and Raoul. Designer Nigel Caburn told us about his inspirations behind his designs.
Well, my father was actually in Burma in the Second World War, and you'll notice that most of the long shorts and the jackets were all really sort of based on what he was wearing, in that campaign.
There was drama at the Flannels catwalk show, with fur protesters making trouble outside, and then 2 protesters breaking onto the stage after the show before being arrested. Manchester Fashion Week was a success, and all the big names have already signed up for next year. Emily Bergen, Quays TV News.
A joint initiative between the BBC and the University of Salford has been finding the latest creative writing talent. The BBC Writers' Room North project has been looking for the best theatre plays about or inspired by Salford. To tell us more about the event, we are joined by Henry Swindle from the BBC. But first, let's take a look at the event.
There's a park, a big park, where no one ever really goes. Peel Park. Meet there by the swings at approximately 1900 hours Earth time.
Affirmative. Peel Park in Salford, 1900 hours by the swings.
As a performer reading a script, it's really interesting to watch the actors interpret that, how I read it and how they interpreted it and how it came to life. And I think it's very useful for the writers to see their work in performance, because that's what it was about. It's writing for performance, isn't it?
Just watching them perform it just made me realise how much I still have to learn about this process, and and seeing something that I've written like come on to life like that. I really can't explain how wonderful it does feel, and I really hope I get to do it again, to be honest.
6 winning pieces of work from Right by the Quays are the culmination of 11 weeks writing by the students, and I hope demonstrates the wealth of local talent, which with training and investment can be developed even further than we've been able to do with this project.
I think the greatest thing about this evening is celebrating the work, is giving the students a chance to put their work up in front of and in a BBC building and in front of BBC staff, which is an opportunity they perhaps otherwise wouldn't have got. So I hope the students have got lots from it, and those writers will go on and grow and keep writing.
This isn't the end of a journey, it's the start, and I think that's the important thing. Everything we do at Writers' Room is about the long term.
Henry Swindle, who is looking after the project for the BBC, joins us now. Hi Henry.
Hi.
Why did you develop this project?
It was important to us to celebrate our joint arrival of Salford University and the BBC at Salford Quays and the creation of Media City. So it was a project to celebrate that, and also to hopefully inspire students to be to write stuff that we could work with them for the BBC.
And how did this project work?
So we took a course over several weeks, months even, of developing these scripts. So I came in to Salford, to the university, to talk to the students and ran some workshops with them about writing. And then they all submitted, we got about 150 entries for 6 finalists. They all submitted a 10-minute play, and then which were read by a group of great judges, including my boss, Kate Rowland, who's the creative director of new writing for the BBC, and Shobna Glati from Coronation Street, and somebody from the Bush Theatre in London. So then 6 winners were picked, and these were performed at Media City in the BBC building a few weeks ago.
Great. And what kind of stories about Salford did you find?
Loads of different stories. So some of the scripts were very specific and took the brief very literally. It was to be write plays inspired by Salford. So some of them were very much about things going on in Salford now, or historical things about Salford. Some of them, and I think perhaps some of the more interesting ones, took that as a kind of jumping off point and talked about life in general, or something bigger and wider world.
And what's going to happen next?
What happens next is they keep writing. Hopefully this is a great way to inspire the writing students here at the university, and writers in the area in general. And writers write, so keep going, and hopefully they'll take what they've learnt from this on into their careers.
Great, thank you very much for that.
Pleasure.
Now, low-cost airlines flying from Manchester have been launching new flights to Gibraltar. It's long been a favourite for tax-free shopping and a taste of British life in a sunnier climate. Robert Midgley reports from Gibraltar as the country gets ready to celebrate the Queen's Diamond Jubilee.
Gibraltar in 2012. The plans have been made, the bunting is on standby, but what goodies will Gibraltar be unveiling?
The one I'm really excited about is this jazz festival which my department, or should I say my ministry, is organising. It's a jazz festival which we're bringing the top jazz people from the world, and we wanted to make it an annual event, so it's part of the jazz touring fraternity, and it's on the 28th, 29th and 30th of June. There are many other things. National Day. This year we're hoping we are getting everybody in casemates, and it's to do because of political reasons it was taken away from casemates, and we are now bringing it back home.
So what are the plans for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee?
We are trying to do a variety show. There's going to be street parties. Gibraltar, people love the Queen, people love the monarchy, and we love being British. So we want to show even Britain that we are very British.
With Her Majesty last visiting here in 1954 and her influence still running deep, there's no wonder such a celebration is taking place. But what do the people of Gibraltar most look forward to in 2012?
I'm looking forward to this government introducing lots of interesting initiatives that will be fantastic for the people of Gibraltar, primarily in mental health and to do with sport.
Me for Calentita Night and National Day.
We have the Diamond Jubilee, which is going to be very exciting, where all the community is going to come together. We're going to have street parties.
Basically, I want Gibraltar to carry on. We've got a new political government at the moment, so lo que te digo, and for us, the local guy who's a normal working man, but we're looking for obviously more housing.
With so much happening, it's hard to ignore all the festivities of 2012. It's a great year to be a Gibraltarian.
We're now joined by the BBC's Ken Lee, who is here to talk about the corporation's move to Media City. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Charlie.
You've come to the end of the big move. How has it been?
Well, you say big move, and I think big move sums it up quite well. We've got nearly 2,300 people already working on site with the BBC. We've had 36 weekends of moves into Salford. It's been exhausting, it's been hugely exciting, and in the end it's really satisfying because we're here, we're on time, we're on budget, and we're delivering great content.
That's great. How will things change in terms of jobs for local people?
Well, we already have more than 200 Salfordians working in the BBC buildings, so from here on in I think the priority is to build on that momentum. I think especially we'll be focusing on the entry-level kind of jobs, so you can expect to see a lot of activity around skills development in the local community and around apprenticeships, and that'll be the case in Salford but also slightly wider afield across Greater Manchester.
Will there be an opportunity for students to work with you and gain work experience?
You know, it is really important that we do that, but also really important that we do that in a way which is quite focused. Because at the BBC we routinely get more than 50,000 applications a year. So it's important that we partner carefully with universities like the University of Salford, work out what the best value add is in terms of the job opportunities we've got, and then spend our time with the university matching talented students with great opportunities. And if we get that right, then it'll be a really special development area for people.
As we know, there's been some controversial stories in the press. Firstly, the safety in the area and the cost of living. What is your response to what's been written regarding this?
Well, when we launched the project, we knew that it would be high profile, and the amount of press attention that we've attracted, I guess, was predictable. But you know, quite often what we read in the press isn't fully accurate, and sometimes it's written by people who haven't even been to visit us in Media City. So I think we'd always encourage people to come and see what the BBC is doing in Media City. We want to be open and transparent, see what we're doing, talk to staff, talk to audiences, and I think then people will get a far more balanced picture of how successful the move has been.
Great, and how have the staff responded to this negative
press? You know, our staff are part of the media, and they know how certain sections of the media work. And I think they've got the ability to see behind those headlines. I think sometimes they see what's written and think, do they really mean us? So they haven't let it distract them from the work. And I think from our point of view, what's important is that we continue to give out the full facts, both internally and externally. And staff are very happy to be here. They're delivering some fantastic content to our audiences, and that's what we're going to build on.
That's great. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Pleasure.
Thank you for joining us today. You can keep up to date by following us on Twitter @Quays News or by heading to our website, quaysnews.net. Thank you.